Getting here with Gardening Simplified. It's March 8th and things are changing in the garden in a hurry. Let's take a tour. Well, we'll start up here by the Victory Garden. Of course, you can see how everything's doing. We're getting it cleaned up. If you notice all the pots here, when you plant early, and these are really early because our uh, average last frost date for this area is 28th of March. So uh, we're still way early. We're 20 days off from the last frost date. We did have to cover these one night. It got down to about 33, maybe a little bit colder. We want to make sure that they weren't going to get anything happen to them. Now we have lost just a few plants because the winds have been horrendous here. We had like 35-mile-an-hour winds, what they were saying. Now I don't have a wind gauge, so I can't tell you what is here, but we are always windy because we're at the top of the hill. But anyway, when we took these off, we just left them here. Tomorrow night we've got they're saying 35, 36 degrees, and we always get a couple of degrees cooler, so we're going to go ahead and cover these again, and then hopefully that looks like the last time so we can pick these up, get them out of the way. Now we still got a lot of weeding to do in our garlic here. Garlic is kind of toasty, but it'll be all right. Our onions, these were our fall onions. Now we have a lot of weeds in here we need to take out. We lost some of these. This year, remember, we're going to do an experiment to see whether putting our little onion starts in the ground in the fall like we normally do here, if it's any benefit to it versus putting them in the spring. So we'll see how our onions come off while we do that. We do have early peas coming up. Got a good stand there. This cold won't bother them. They'll take it just fine. We've still got some beds covered up here. We'll go around this way and see. It looks like we've lost a few of our watermelons over here. The transplants didn't take, but we've got some that done good. The wind broke off some. Our cantaloupes looking a little rough. We've got some of them's doing good, but we lost a bunch down there, and I'm gonna guess it maybe the wind. I don't know, but anyway, we'll go in and we'll put some other transplants down there. Now we got one more bed up here to clear, and we'll have this all the way down to here. Our cucumbers, they're in the ground. They're doing good. One thing about it is they have had some sunny days, but they've had a lot of cloudy days, which gives them time to get those roots stretched out, get the moisture, and go from there. Now, we did get a 1/4 inch of rain today, which was helpful, and we got about a 1/2 inch of rain right after we planted them, so the soil ought to be in good shape. This side here, we did put one more tarp down, or one more black plastic down on those. What we'll start doing now is we'll start at this end, pulling the tarps up and cleaning these rows out. Our asparagus is starting to shoot up. We've harvested the bigger asparagus, but the little ones that are new roots, we just let them go ahead and come up with seed tops. The little greenhouse, it's good and clear, ready to go. We've got some lettuce to go in here, and we'll have to find a few more things to put in here with it. We've got the tarp off of this section. So we've got these rows cleared out, ready to plant. Like I say, springtime, there's a lot to do. You just got to get out there and get after it, tackle a little bit at a time. So we pulled this tarp up, moved it on the other side, and got these cleaned up. We've got one bed left here to clear out. We've got these 3 clean. Went ahead and cleaned up again where the blueberries are, and of course cleaned out around our rosemary that we put in last year. Now we've got a little bit of cleaning to do in this greenhouse here, this part of this row, and what we'll do is we actually have to take the stirrup hoe, and that's what we used over there. When you do no dig, a lot of times it'll try to get compacted, especially if you put a tarp over the top. We try to take and use that stirrup hoe a couple inches deep to at least get the top where it's nice and soft, take water again. And usually if the top gets hard, you're not going to get water underneath, and so your soil's going to kind of dry out a little bit. Our green beans, it's easier to tell now that our row is starting to get filled in, so we should do fine with this crop of green beans. All our citrus are doing well here in the greenhouse. In fact, we're getting a lot of blooms coming on these lemons, and we've got some blooms on our orange tree here. These are our oldest ones, so we should have good fruit set there. Our little transplants now, these are our squash. They really need to get out here, and once we have that cold spell Monday, we're going to put these in the ground along with our pumpkins, and we've got one red curry, and then we've got something else here. Let's see what it was. Yeah, and our Seminole squash or pumpkins, whichever way you want to call it. And we've got some more Seminoles here because we didn't have as well a germination as we wanted. Our Israel cantaloupes, they're not quite big enough to put out. Our onions are definitely going to go out. When our transplants are still looking good, our tomatoes, a few of these, we'll have to replace the ones. We had some cherry tomatoes break over. When that happens, what I suggest, the best thing to do is just cover the stem and let them go. There's a good chance they'll survive as long as the soil's moist. They'll root back in. And this lettuce needs to get in that little greenhouse. But there's definitely a lot going on. We can look out here. We didn't take this down. We thought we might have another cool day, and sure enough we do. So tomorrow we're going to roll the ends down, and tomorrow evening we'll close the sides, and that way we can keep whatever wind off and keep the temperature up in here a few degrees higher. We'll go ahead and drop this down to make sure there's nothing to slow down the growth of these citrus and hurt these bananas. But it looks like most of them have done good after this freeze. You can always tell when they shoot up leaves or they go ahead and unroll. I cut the dead part off of this and it unrolled. And this one here, of course, cut the last leaf, but it's shooting out a new one. So that's a good sign. Definitely our pineapples need to be put in the ground. We'll figure out what we're going to do there. This one here, as you can see, it's just starting to shoot a leaf out. So this one will survive fine too. Now, out of our big trees, this one's green, that one's green. I don't see anything from this one yet. So this one here, it might have just got it from that last freeze. We had moved our other ones in. They're doing good. As we look at our filter crop cabbages, they all look mighty rough. Normally nice fuller leaves, and they don't grow up quite so tall. They're, as far as they tend to fan out more. Part of this could be because they're in here, but they didn't do, the ones that were in here last year didn't do that way. I'm suspecting like this because of the heat and cold, this is fixing to shoot a seed top up. But for me, that's not a problem because I was going to leave some in here. I want to collect some of my own seeds from these. We do have a few that are seem to be doing okay, but we'll just play it by ear and see what happens. Maybe a couple weeks, we might have a few of these ready for the market. On our sweet potato slips, we do have some germination. Some of them's coming up faster than others, but we should have plenty of slips for our crop this year. We also got our propagations looking pretty good. Now some of these here, this is a purple leaf peach. It's starting to shoot up leaves. Hopefully it will survive. I don't see any roots on there. And we have a few figs that are coming out. This one's actually got a root on the side, so it's going to do good. We'll see how many we get out of those. And I've been kind of watching the pomegranates. I haven't seen any roots out. Their roots don't seem to come to the side as quick, but they are coming out green good. So I think we're going to have a good bunch of pomegranate propagations this year. But we'll just have to see. We'll let it go. A lot of these figs, just like these here, they just don't seem to be doing that well. They're starting to dry up on the top. And if we lose them, we'll lose them. But that's kind of the way it goes. Our red cabbage, the ones we've left, they're hanging in there. They don't grow fast, so hopefully, maybe a couple weeks, we might have 2 or 3 that's ready to harvest. We always harvest them a lot smaller. Our herbs are looking good, especially the chives. They're looking real good. We still need to do some cleanup in this oregano bed. Our yarrow that's over there, see where it's got a lot of new plants seeded in, so it should have a pretty full batch over there. And we didn't look, but we've got our propagations or our prunings from our figs that we just stuck in the ground. I don't see any sign that these are going to take, but we'll see here in a month or so, see if any of them start to leaf out. And we're at the corn and potatoes. We don't have any potatoes coming up yet, but we do have good germination. We got a lot of our corn just breaking the surface here. So we should have a pretty good stand. It's a little spotted right now, but they're not all going to jump up at one time, but it does look like we're going to have a pretty good stand. But anyway, that's where our garden's setting. We're just dealing with the cool weather and hoping for the best. That's always the way to do it. If you want something early, you're going to have to maybe use a couple techniques to kind of protect it so it's going to survive these short bursts. I know when you're up north, your temperatures get quite a bit lower. You can't just go this route. You know, we can go a few degrees below freezing and protect them here, but when you get quite a bit further north, it might be a problem. But anyway, that's where we're sitting right now. I hope you enjoyed this update of the garden. And if you want to see more gardening content, self-sufficiency, preserving, such as that, freeze-dried. Well, of course, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe, hit the bell, select all, give it a big thumbs up, and share this video. Enjoy that gardening experience.